Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the Township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Okay, we will call the Monday, October 3rd meeting of the East Lampeter Industrial and Commercial Development Authority to order. Please rise and join me for a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, in your packet, you should have a copy of the July 11th minutes from our regular meeting. Any comments on that? And if there are none, I'll entertain a motion to accept.
So move.
Second. Motion from Glenn, second from Corey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. I'll now take public comment on any non-agenda items. Any comment from the public, Mr. Thornton? Any comment received over email?
There's no comment over email.
Okay. All right, we have no reports of committees or reports of officers. We'll move on to 7A. Old business branding, gateway features, and wayfinding. Terry, you want to give us a quick update on that?
Absolutely. So the consultant merge has finalized the branding that you all saw a few months ago. The gateway features have been worked on further. The one that will be placed on the east side of the gateway is finalized. The west side is still being worked on, and that is in coordination with PennDOT and the project that's moving forward on the Western Gateway as a whole. As we work through wayfinding, you were informed last time that PennDOT provided it's basically a TODS, a tourist-oriented signage program. And that agreement is not necessarily what this board is looking for to move forward with the wayfinding. The solicitor has reviewed that and has provided some changes for that agreement for your consideration. Township staff is also looking through that agreement as well, and we'll give that to PennDOT before we ask for a meeting with them.
Do we need to take any action on this agreement, draft agreement?
Not at this time, because if you have any comments, we're more than willing to take those back to the solicitor and have her incorporate those into the agreement. But we're not at a point where PennDOT has agreed to those changes as well, and so therefore no action is required, formal action.
Seems pretty straightforward. We administer, put them up, maintain them. We can back out if we remove them or give them written notice.
Right. If you recall, the original agreement required a pay-as-you-go system, which is not the intent of this system.
Okay. Any comments or discussion
I
on
think
the?
that's a good
draft?
summary, as you said.
All right, we'll move on to item 7B, report on business improvement district project.
Yes, as the township manager indicated to the board, there was not sufficient time in his schedule to move forward with that project in this quarter. And therefore, he questioned whether or not the board would prefer to look for a consultant to move this process forward.
Mr. Chair, I guess my question would be, any ideas on an estimate of what a proposal would look like? The proposals are, crazy high. I might have a different response, but just based on past experience with consultants, any idea how much the estimate would be?
I do not have an idea of what the estimate would be to move forward with this. We would have to put out a scope, obtain proposals, and move forward.
I mean, it would likely just be time for the consultant, right? I mean, it's not like we're building anything per se.
I think it's consensus building.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
time commitment.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
To the authority. Sure.
So the process for Roger's benefit, so the process we went through last time. And then, I know we discussed some improvements to that process, but the first is we got a list of all the properties. So we had a spreadsheet that we had. Then we sent out letters to them, giving them a brief overview, inviting them to a series of scheduled meetings. I think that were at the same time as the township meetings. So we were going to have a public discussion on the streetscape plan as well as the business improvement district. We had one page on our website that gave a broad overview and link to the streetscape plan. So a lot of the discussion ended up being about the streetscape, even though the business improvement district was more than that. And then it's a matter of then sending a follow-up letter of how to vote no, and then tabulating those votes.
Right.
I know this time, the last time we discussed it would be to have similar process, but I know I volunteered. I know Roger had said he was willing to also actually go out and do some meetings with the folks on the corridor. We'll be putting together at least a more explicit page on the website that would say, here's what the process is, here's where we are in the process is, here's where the public meetings are going to be held, here's information, maybe putting a brochure up that would allow members of the property owners to also go out and help pitch it as well. We had one or two folks last time who were sort of our champions a little bit, but we've identified a few more since then. So really is going to be the price of that. Because again, it would still be, it's gathering the information, which is still going to come from township staff, the consultant. So maybe putting the content on the website, which township staff will do, the consultant might write a little better.
Right, the content. Yeah.
And then hosting the meetings, which would probably just be part of our normal meeting schedule.
Yeah, but I agree with everything you said. I just wonder if that consultant could also do some of that one-on-one outreach as well. If they're a known entity in the community, or they might even know some of these folks, they might help for them to actually have one-on-one conversations as well. So data gathering and communication plan. In that communication plan, it could be, like you said, web content, it could be social media content, it could be paper content.
Yeah.
And hopefully one-on-one
Talking to the press. Last time the press was not happy with the idea.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Having champion business
Would help.
I think it was. Yeah, I would support putting a little bit of money into having something to coordinate. I would vote this.
So at this point, the question is, do we go out and get proposals? And my answer, I would vote yes to that.
I don't know if we need to take action, but I think it's one of You take next.
Yeah.
Sure. So if you want to put that into a
Yeah, sure.
motion, because then it's bring it back and then we can review it hopefully by January and see if we want to pursue it or not based on the dollar amount.
Sure. So I'll make a motion to obtain proposals from qualified firms for the business improvement district project consultant services.
Motion from Corey,
Second.
second from Roger. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We will proceed with gathering quotes from consultants to help us with that project. Next up, we have item 8A, new business approval to pay invoice to Merge. Merge is our previous consultant, helped with the design services. So the amount is $16,490.25.
Make a motion that we pay Merge $16,490.25 for their services on the brand new features.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from John, a second from Corey. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we have item 8B, discussion on the 2023 budget. Terry, you
So-
want to give us a little background?
Absolutely. It's October. We're in budget season. So we are looking at all of the budgets for the township, including the authority's budget. And there will be a budget workshop set at which that will be reviewed, but the authority will actually take action on the budget January 3rd at your annual meeting. That was a change in the bylaws at the beginning of this year. So that is when you will see the final budget for the authority to take action. Some of the items, we will now look at the scope of work for the BID. We will have the final invoices from Merge for the branding, wayfinding, and gateway features. And we're anticipating the gateway feature on the east portion of the highway.
Just be clear, do we have a township meeting on the 2nd or not till later in that month?
It would be the 3rd because the 2nd is actually the holiday.
Okay, so both the township, both the supervisors meeting and the Felicita meeting
That's
Yeah,
will be
correct.
the 3rd.
7 and 7:30.
Got it, 7
similar
and
to-
7:30. Got it. Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Any other comments on the budget? Any other items?
Are there any other items that I didn't go over that you felt should have been included there?
I think you got them. I mean, the business improvement district is probably the big one. Keep moving on that piece and also starting on the moving forward with the wayfinding signage as well.
Okay,
The only other item to mention, since you mentioned bylaws as well, they're probably at the January 3rd meeting. I'm going to work with staff on putting together a few more minor amendments to the bylaws. One, to change the order of business to align with what the supervisors do. Second one be to allow for roll call vote when we have, if we want to, or mainly if there's folks remote. Right now, we're not allowed to do roll call votes. All right, any other items for the good of the order? We now have a new member of the public. Any public comment? Okay, all right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Corey, second by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Next